We no longer live in the real world. We live in a version of it, filtered, cropped, curated. A highlight reel of something that was once real. Reality has become a backdrop for our fiction. This is hyperreality, a condition where simulation replaces substance, where the image becomes more important than the experience itself. Go out to a restaurant, any concert or club, or any beach and look around, and you will see faces lit not by a sunset, but by screens. Smiles held just long enough for a picture before fading into boredom or anxiety. It's not about being there anymore. It's about proving you were. A night out isn't for joy or laughter or connection. It's for content. The pleasure comes the next day when the likes start rolling in. We no longer experience moments. We manufacture them. In this new world, perception is reality. The more filtered your life looks, the more real it appears to others. But inside, people are feeling emptier than ever, disconnected. They've traded authenticity for approval, presence for performance. Hyperreality has turned us into spectators of our own lives. Young people today are growing up not in community, but in atomized isolation. Tiny worlds built from pixels and curated identities. Algorithms whispering what to want, what to buy, who to be, what thoughts to think. We've replaced meaning with metrics. We measure worth in views, hearts, and shares, and it's destroying something deeply human. Materialism thrives in hyperreality. It reduces human experience to mechanics, ignoring the depth of consciousness, meaning, the sacred and moral value. Because when the image matters most, you'll do anything to enhance it. New clothes, new gadgets, new versions of the same self. It is something far more superficial and meaningless than consumerism. It's identity construction. And every post, every purchase is another brick in the illusion. But the cost is steep. Rising narcissism, dissociation, anxiety, loneliness masked as connection. We're constantly connected, yet no one feels seen. Even our emotions are filtered now. We show sadness as an aesthetic, grief, but make it beautiful. What happens when everything is performative? When every thought, every memory, every experience is mediated by a lens? At some point, we lose the ability to tell what's real. To escape hyperreality, we have to learn to be present again, to look without recording, to feel without performing, to remember without posting. Because reality, the unfiltered kind, isn't perfect, isn't optimized, and never goes viral. But it's the only place we can actually live. Disconnect to reconnect. Step outside of the simulation.
So what is real, anyway? Hey, it's punk. You know, we're all somewhat aware that the image today has been crafted. What I don't think that we take account of is that our thoughts are becoming increasingly hyper-reality. We're being told, we're being programmed. You know, Noam Chomsky says, the people don't understand how things work, and they don't understand that they don't understand. Meaning, even the people who think they understand how things work. Oh, this guy, it's this guy's responsibility, and this is how this system works, and this system works. They really don't, and they really don't understand that they really don't. It's like two levels. And I think humanity over the past, well, certainly since the advent of social media, but well before, but social media has done something amazing to us. Something amazing, but I mean all in the sense of like, holy crap, what has become of us? And today we are just, oh man, for those of you who've been on Twitter or X for a long time, I don't know how you guys do it. I got on a couple of years ago, and I am amazed at just the obvious, blatant, at this point now, daily propaganda we are fed. This is what the daily, right now, people are being fed their daily outrage because many years ago, Facebook showed, and I think it's now well established, that outrage is what moves fastest on these social media platforms. And how do you keep people engaged? Well, outrage. We are being manipulated to be outraged, to be angry, to be divided, and increasingly to be hateful. The hate that actually didn't exist, that we were told that existed, but really didn't, is turning into actual real hate now. And that's a problem. I believe we need a consciousness revolution. We need to upgrade our consciousness. I believe that our institutions have become institutionally corrupt, that we need to reform them, innovate them, in some cases, completely rid ourselves of them and figure out something different. We need real solutions to real, serious, pressing problems. Many of those problems people aren't even aware of because they're too busy blaming this group of people or that group of people or an orange man. And that increasingly, to me, is just looking like it's a clown show. It's to keep us distracted. And if you are finding yourself outraged or feeling hateful, there's a good chance that that's just being programmed into you, that those aren't your real thoughts. It's sure, humans, especially if you are a Christian, you understand that we are sinful by nature, that we have these pettinesses, these envies, and these things that are very easy to pluck at. And I believe they are constantly being manipulated, and we're having those well, we're having these things, I guess, I don't know what's the right word. I lost it actually. But they are using these things against us. They say, people like to say, well, the greatest emotion is love. No, the greatest emotion that has control over us is fear. It takes action and effort to love. You have to actually put that will into action. Love isn't passive. Fear you can feel just out of nowhere. Fear, you can be passive and feel fear. To love, you actually have to put energy into it. You have to love, and that's a choice. And you can get on the internet and yell at people and be hateful, but that's not love. You can sit here and accuse people of other things, but that's not love. Love is the willingness to extend oneself for another. It's actually the will to extend oneself for the personal or spiritual growth of another human being. That's love. Love isn't action. And action takes choice. So, while we're all being manipulated and our fear and our pettinesses and our greeds all being scratched by the those who really wish to control us, it's important to remember that we can all choose love. We can all ask, is this activity actually raising my consciousness? Is it raising my vibration? Is sitting here online yelling at people, is sitting here listening, for people who watch CNN and MSNBC, you're literally sitting there subjecting yourself to people lying to you, who want to manipulate you and get you outraged. That's not love for yourself or anybody else. You are, Freud's thing, of course, is he believed that people will do almost anything to avoid taking responsibility. And the quote from Spider-Man is, with great power comes great responsibility, but it works both ways, actually. And while we haven't been taught this in recent years, because a lot of people have taken power without taking responsibility, which leads to frustration, which is what we're seeing, we need people who are both responsible, the people in power to be responsible. The people in power today seem more intent in dividing us and being petty, and they're not setting a very good example. Their decorum, they're basically trashy. You know what I mean? And we're allowing what I call our degenerate elite to set the tone, when we, the people, are actually better than they are. We have folk wisdom. We have collective wisdom. They're being manipulative, slimy, and quite frankly, evil. And, if you are giving into that, if you're getting outraged with everything Chuck Schumer or AOC says, if you're watching Fox News and going, "Rah," that's not love. That's not love for yourself or anybody else, because they're not informing you. Most of those people are just lying to you. So it's not like you can say, well, I'm being an informed citizen. No, you're not. You're not being informed at all. You're being lied to and manipulated by corporations. But I hate corporations and capitalism. So why do you let them lie to you? Why do you let them into your head? It's like one of the greatest examples of that was, prior to COVID, it was the women, particularly on the left, that were into all this sort of naturopathic or homeopathic stuff, and were into not into vaccines and all that sort of things. There was a sizable contingent on the left, the hippie chicks, the yoga women, the people who believe, who identify with all that stuff, the Lululemon people. And, during the COVID, did you see how fast that switched? Wow! And they just had to wheel out a few people in white coats, and they were like, the science. I'm like, they were just bureaucrats, and they were lying to you. They're protecting and preserving the status quo, an institutionally corrupt system. What the hell are you doing? They were clearly lying to us. Didn't you see all that data, that false data manipulation? It was so obvious, yet people, bang. And that shows me that, people just aren't, it's, as Yuval Harari says, humans are hackable, and they've been hacked. We've been hacked. Lots of people have been hacked. I think that's the obsession. That would be hey, if I wanted to control the world, I would want to hack into every person's mind so that they agreed with me and that they allowed me to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. And I'd convince it's for their own good. I would convince them that all this slave labor or whatever you wanted from them, it's all for their own good. It's Just follow the rules. Just keep going on with the system. That's what I would do. That's absolutely what I would do. And I'm not that smart. But there are some really smart people who have all the tools and all the money and all the control, and they can do it. Why wouldn't they? Ask yourself, why wouldn't they? They have the power, they have the brain power, they have it all. They have the tools to basically control us, and why wouldn't they? Do you think they're that good at people? Do you think the degenerate elite are our moral superiors? Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, what's up, y'all? Like, we need a consciousness revolution. We don't need just Trump out of the White House. I mean, could you imagine, here we have all this institutional corruption. Here we have some of the worst minds in power of all time. We are demoralized as a nation. We certainly don't have strong morals or values anymore to defend against anything. So now we just put in communism, socialism, digital IDs, and programmable money and social credit scores. So you actually want the people voting who want socialism today and communism, and I think most of the people on the left, they are rooting for totalitarianism to combat authoritarianism. They're both bad, but I guess on the scale, technically totalitarianism would be worse because it's the entire system. But the fact is, we probably already have a totalitarian system. I mean, if you think about the scams that they have allowed, or we have allowed to have happen to us. I mean, I don't know if you watched that last video of mine, but if we confiscated all the billionaires' wealth and raised the income tax to 100%, our debt would still increase. All that money's being funneled up the wazoo to the people that you're ignoring. You're ignoring it. You're basically ignoring the whole thing. It's the Noam Chomsky quote. People don't understand how things work, and they don't understand that they don't understand. It's also like the Henry Ford quote from over 100 years ago. We still haven't figured it out yet. It's all well and good that the people don't understand how the banking system works, for if they did, I would expect a revolution by the morning. We still haven't figured that one out. And it's actually just gotten, they're running so many scams on us now. I mean, and y'all are just, and when I say y'all, I'm thinking about all the people out there just bickering about Trump and bickering about this and bickering about that. And I'm like, they literally have you right where they want you. They want you doing all of that stuff. Anyway, there's so many ways I could go on today. I mean, people are like, the SNAP system. Oh, they're gonna do SNAP. First of all, let's remind you, this country wastes 40% of the food it produces each year. A lot of that is due to government regulations that makes people throw away food. You know what I mean? On top of that, SNAP is not a welfare program. It's under the USDA. It makes up 75% of the Department of Agriculture's budget. It is a subsidy for the ultra-processed food industry. That's what it is. Poor people will buy high-caloric food, the highest caloric food, for the dollar. So that is naturally ultra-processed food. I've lived in Baltimore. I've seen, there's no living things in these people's cart. I mean, it's all ultra-processed crap food. And that, of course, turns them into being very unhealthy, and then they go use the medical system a whole bunch, and the pharmaceutical industry even more. It's kind of a scam, to be honest with you. And there is no reason for anybody in this country to go unfed, but the government makes it so. So let's not pretend it's not the government's fault. Oh, but it's the greedy corporations. No, it's not. Corporations and nonprofits could handle this stuff. We could get everybody fed. Everybody could get fed. The government keeps us from getting fed. Because it's not about getting people fed. It's about subsidies to the large agricultural businesses. It's not even for the small farms, it's just for the big boys. It's to grow soy, wheat, and corn. Not even wheat anymore. It's to grow soy, you know? So anyway, people don't understand how anything works, and they don't understand that they don't understand. That's what, you know, so Christian, you're just calling everybody stupid again. And I'm like, okay, the definition of stupid is an action which you derive no benefit, may even harm yourself, and nobody else derives any benefit or harms themselves. There's a lot of stupidity going on. The worst thing, though, is that, not worse, but this is being perpetrated by the bandits who, you know, benefit themselves while harming others. And right now we've let the bandits rule the hen house. And, you know, it's because of our own lack of consciousness, because we don't understand what we don't understand. And it's time for us to wake up and understand and realize that, you know, the more we just allow them to yank us around on their little emotional chains, you know, the worse we're going to be. And the more you go outside into nature, the more you have conversations with your neighbor, the more and I mean, it's a miracle any of us are here to begin with. First of all, and then second of all, it's amazing that we're in the United States of America at this time. Yes, there are problems, and the people who are complaining about the problems are actually making it worse most of the time. You know, but it's all pretty freaking amazing. But we're not being told that it's freaking amazing. Now, are we? We're not. We're not being told that it's freaking amazing. We're being told how awful it is. So we're all going around going, oh, it's awful. When actually, we could do amazing things. We can do amazing things. We're still capable of doing amazing things. But not, I mean, but a scam has been run on us. I mean, the boomers have fostered and enabled a scam that has really hurt this nation tremendously. I mean, they inherited this country at its zenith, correct? And they're going to leave it broken, demoralized, you know, crumbling, and deeply, deeply in debt. And, you know, these systems are the systems that we need to be fighting against. We need to be fighting against those systems. We can't preserve this piece of crap systems anymore. And it's so weird to see so many people yelling against Orange Man while I want to preserve these systems. But see, they don't know how bad things are. They don't understand that we structurally have over $2 trillion of deficit every year. And that's before any sort of bad thing happens. You know, I mean, it's just crazy what's happening out there. We have 150 trillion in unfunded liabilities. We have 38 trillion in debt. And the nation is just crumbling. Oh, people shouldn't have to go hungry. I agree with you. They're just printing money. They're just printing money that doesn't come from anything. It's not derived from anything. They're printing money, and basically they're the ones profiting, consolidating power and control. I mean, and that's happening. Meanwhile, we're all over here bitching at each other. Oh, white man this, white man that. And usually who are they bitching at? They're bitching at the fucking guy who delivers their Amazon. I mean, the white male who's serving in the military, who's the EMT, who's a plumber. Like, why are you bitching about these guys? Yet over here, these people are literally looting us, hurting us, demoralizing us, teaching us to hate each other. And you're like, oh, but let's put our trust in them. What the F is that? Seriously. I'm sorry, but we've reached a level of absurdity where we need to start making fun of ourselves, because we are being stupid. We collectively are being stupid. We, the people, are being stupid. So stop believing there's all this hate out here. Stop believing that it's all just one guy, and take some responsibility, right? We all need to empower ourselves. How do we do that? By taking responsibility. You don't become a powerful person by being a pussy. You know what I mean? You become a powerful person by taking responsibility, doing what needs to be done. And today, we all need to elevate our consciousness, and flipping through the phone and getting angry whenever MSNBC or whatever, The Atlantic or your college professor says we should be angry about, Oh man, it makes I was once a neighbor to a guy who his coursework was he was a professor of social design, and it was at an arts college. And I thought it sounded cool. And then later I realized all he was doing was it was a class to teach people to be Democrats and to be woke. I was like, what the? Anyway, I can't believe people actually take classes to learn how to have righteous hate. And that's what it is. It's teaching this concept of righteous hate that, because there's some hate over there, you have the right to hate them even worse. Anyway, I wish you love, and I wish you the best. I wish everybody the best, because if we were all having the best, or, living up to ourselves, or just even half of our potential. If we just lived up to half of our potential, most of us, we would be living a pretty damn good life. You know what I mean? But most of us don't live up to even a fraction of our potential. And then we start to blame others and get angry and pissed off because, we're not living up to our potential. So it's funny. We will all do whatever we will avoid responsibility, whatever it takes, man. And if it means blaming others and scapegoating others and projecting our demons onto others, we have become very good at that. But I wish you love. I wish you not only the willingness to extend yourself to better another, but the willingness to extend, yourself to better yourself. And so I wish everybody out there a peace and love, and basically get off the social media a little bit. Get off the social media and tell some of these people who are clearly out there trying to manipulate you to F off. You know what I mean? Because that's probably the best thing you can do. And go just enjoy this. It's a miracle any of us are alive. Look at this little blue planet we're just floating around on in this massive void abyss, this huge monstrous universe. It's amazing. So go let life be amazing.